So for me, I've always wanted to be involved in missions. So when I moved down here, I was really searching for a church that I could do that with. We were driving around one Sunday and we drove past this church twice. And when we came back by, it was like, you have to pull in. You know, Chester was always asking, you know, would you want to be a part of it? And I was like, yes. And so to go to Ukraine, I mean, I was a little bit nervous, but it was a new place that I had never experienced before. And I was looking for something like that.
It was very interesting. When I came to the church, to One Heart, I knew that I wanted to be involved in a missions team. And I prayed, knowing that my job and my work schedule would have to accommodate whatever team I went on. And Tanzania was the one that turned out to fit into that schedule.
Janet had always been wanting me to go on one of them with her. And when I was teaching, there's no way. And then I had retired, and our preacher had been talking about missions, and in the middle of church, I'm texting Janet, which is not a good thing. But I said, ask Chester if it's too late. And it just felt right.
So I've been doing these missions for about 16, 17 years now. After going to Haiti since 2010, there was some conflict between the Dominicans and the Haitians. And I remember telling my wife, I said, I'll never go do mission work in the Dominican Republic. That year, we were supposed to go to Haiti in February, and God canceled that trip. I got a call from Mission of Hope, said our mission is moved to the Dominican Republic. And I laughed. I told her, I said, you know, don't tell God what you're not going to do.
It wasn't just like one time. It was the whole thing. It just, a feeling of love and peace and being able to present the Lord to kids, even if through crafts or whatever. And, you know, maybe they didn't all understand, but they knew we were there and that we had come there for them.
So for the Tanzania mission, one thing Chester asked all of us to do was prepare a talk on leadership. About 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, the morning of the talk, God woke me up 3 o'clock in the morning and said, I want you to change your talk. I said, but I've already done it. He said, no. He said, at your talk, I want you to incorporate and give an invitation. I said, God, this is not my church. I said, we're going to have all these pastors here. Why can't somebody else do it? This went on from 3 o'clock to about 4:30. And I'm tired, I'm sleepy. Finally, at 5 o'clock, I said, okay, I'll do it. So I got to the end of my talk, and he told me what to say. He told me just incorporate into your speech that, you know, leaders can glorify God with everything that you mentioned, but they must have an intimate relationship with Him. So I mentioned that part, and then I gave the salvation prayer, and that was the end of it. But it was, I don't know who that was for. I think it was for me just to obey.
I'd say, like, for me, it's being with the young translators. Watching our translators kind of grow up and seeing, like, who they become is something that's really cool. That's one reason why I love going back every time, because I love being able to see where they are that next year and who they're becoming.
Obviously, that 25, maybe even more people prayed to receive Christ as their Savior was a wonderful blessing. Tanzania is a wonderful opportunity. Some people ask at times, why would you go that far to minister? And my answer is because God calls us to do it. It's as simple as that. We need to answer the call wherever He would lead us.
Don't make the decision with your head. Make the decision with your heart, because the Lord's not directing your mind, He's directing your heart. So if you're thinking about it in your head, then you're thinking about it too much. And that's going to make you start thinking about, like, the money or, you know, your time, your circumstances. So if you think about it with your heart, then you know that you're going in the right direction, because that's how God's going to lead you.
I would encourage them to trust the Lord first and foremost. If He is calling them to do something, He's going to provide what they need, whether it's they're worried about their finances, not to worry about that, the Lord will provide. But I think so often it's the unknown that people are concerned about and maybe a little frightened of. And I would say step out in faith and see what the Lord can do in you and through you because you have been obedient.
Usually when people think about going on mission trips, the two reservations they have are money, I can't afford it, and I don't know what I would do. And I say, that's great, because that's where God comes into play. And I always tell them, I said, if God calls you to go, your only responsibility is to sign up.